In our first story, a former General Secretary of the Convention People's Party, the CPP, Ivor Kobna Greenstreet, has floored 3 contestants who emerged the flag bearer of the CPP for the 2016 general elections.
Mr. Greenstreet polled 1,288 to beat his closest rival, Samia Nkrumah, who managed some 579 votes. Lateef Idris was at the Congress ground and came through with this report.
Despite an attempt by a failed aspirant, Dr. Onsi Nkrumah, who filed a writ to stop the Congress, the party went ahead with the event as planned. Over 2,000 delegates of the party from all 10 regions of the country converged at the International Trade Fair Center in Accra to select a presidential candidate for the 2016 presidential poll. Voting at the Congress ground was preceded by a National Executive Committee meeting, which made some amendments to the party's constitution. The CPP Congress resolved that the National Youth Organizer slots of the party will now be elected at the National Delegates Congress, along with other high-profile positions such as National Treasurer, General Secretary, and National Chairman. In the past, the CPP held a separate event to elect the party's National Youth Organizer and another to elect a flag bearer. The second amendment by the Congress concerns eligibility of flag bearer aspirants. The party's Congress on Saturday, January 30, 2016, resolved that members of the party who wish to contest the flag bearership position in the future would have to be members of the party for 5 years and must be in good standing. In the past, presidential aspirants would have to be party members for 4 years before qualifying to contest the position. The final amendment to the constitution by the CPP is a resolution to unite with other Nkrumah's parties, notably the People's National Convention. This amendment, according to the national chair of the party, Mr. Edmond Dele, would be closed in April this year. Polls opened and voting started almost immediately after the amendment. The moment of truth came after 6 hours of voting by delegates when the Electoral Commission declared the results.
Samia Nkrumah had 579 votes. Joseph Ajapong had 83. Bright Oblite Akwete had 42. And Ivor Kobna Greenstreet had 1,288. If you look at the percentage, the winner had 64.21%. And therefore, there is no need for a runoff. On behalf of the Commission, I declare Ivor Kobna Greenstreet as the CPP's 2016 presidential candidate.
Ivor Greenstreet, in his acceptance speech, promised to work closely with the failed aspirants to unite the party.
Party which puts the people of Ghana's problems ahead of their own internal problems, solve their internal problems, and deal with the problems of Ghanaians. And then Ghanaians will know that, yes, this is a real political party, not a historical society, not a party of a group of individuals who want to enrich themselves, but a party of people who believe in ideals.
He also promised to empower the youth of the party for the November 7 poll. The national chairman of the Convention People's Party, Professor Edmond Dele, urged delegates to rally behind the newly elected flag bearer to improve the fortunes of the party in the upcoming elections. Professor Dele believes with a united front, the CPP would make huge impact in the 2016 general elections.
Never in the history of this country shall we have us divided again. Never in this country shall we have us leaving this Congress and you find somebody saying that, no, as for me, I don't want to be in the party again. I'm sure we should go out here united more than before.
With 64% victory, it remains to be seen how Mr. Greenstreet unites the party ahead of the general elections.
So we'll bring you a lot more on that. But talking about the CPP, they've been getting a lot more complimentary messages, and already the New Patriotic Party and the party in power, the National Democratic Congress, have congratulated the CPP presidential candidate-elect Ivor Green Street.
The NPP says it is hopeful that his election will enrich Ghana's politics with new ideas and values to improve the fortunes of the average Ghanaian. The party said Mr. Greenstreet has over the years contributed at various levels to the cause of promoting multi-party democracy here in our country, expressing the hope that his election would add more value to the nation's politics. The NDC, on the other hand, said it salutes CPP for democratically electing Ivor Greenstreet as the party's flag bearer for the 2016 general elections. The party said the election of Mr. Greenstreet is another testimony of the CPP's resolve to continue to do its utmost best to deepen its internal democracy and also help deepen Ghana's democratic dispensation. The NDC wished the CPP presidential candidate well and expressed the hope that the CPP will continue to remain very relevant on the Ghanaian political landscape.
The new Patriotic Party has promised to create a special fund for Zongo communities if it gets the chance to govern the country if it's elected in the 2016 general elections. Well, the flag bearer of the party, Nanado Dankwe Kufado, says his administration will support development projects in such communities across the country. He made these promises at the MPP Nasarawa Club National Conference, which is its maiden in Kumasi, in the Ashanti region. Well, we'll bring a report by Mahmoud Mohammed Nurdin. Well, we'll have to apologize, just a read over. And so let's look at this as well. Government is also supporting or is seeking the support of the World Bank to develop what it calls the Coastal Transformation Program in 2016.
The program is set to address the vulnerabilities of communities along the coast and empower girls in such communities. In an interview with the Gender and Social Protection Minister, Nano Yelita, she says government is pursuing the program aggressively to bring relief to the people of the central region and those along the coastal communities of Ghana.
According to the Gender and Social Protection Ministry, government gets scared with the increasing rate of teenage pregnancies, especially along the coastal communities in Ghana. In the central region that leads in teenage pregnancy ratings in the country, for instance, according to statistics, over 14,000 teenage girls got pregnant, most of whom never returned to school after delivery. Many girls continue to drop out of school with each passing day. According to the Gender Ministry, extreme poverty has been cited as the major cause that, for instance, compels some girls to exchange sex for fish and sex for 1 or 2 Ghana cedis in order to survive. Nano Yelita says the phenomenon is worrying and government grieves over it.
It hits me hard. It hits me when I see and read the figures on teenage pregnancy, and I actually see the teenage mothers. It hits me hard because I've been a teenager before and an adolescent, and I know the challenges. But I was lucky because I was guided by my parents, and my parents could provide me with my needs. Some of the teenage girls fall into this trap because their parents are not able to provide them with their needs. And we have a responsibility as a government to make sure that we support the parents to provide them with their needs. And then the parents who are not, we compel them to provide the girls with their needs. They are very vulnerable. Some do not want to do it, but sometimes because they need money, they do it. And as you are aware, we had a national conference on teenage pregnancy, and we have started developing a 10-year strategic plan to address teenage pregnancy. Together with the Minister of Health, Alex Segbefia, we're doing some work with UNFPA on it. And our ministry and government is working on teenage pregnancy. It's a major priority for us.
As a way of reducing the vulnerabilities of the coastal communities, the President has instructed the Gender Ministry to act with the needed swiftness to stem the tide.
What practical steps are we doing? Practical steps. Number 1, addressing the vulnerabilities of the girls and empowering them. So in terms of scaling up LEAP, social protection, and the cash transfer, we targeted the coastal region. The President, President John Mahama, has actually instructed us together, and we've engaged with the World Bank to do a coastal transformation program. So we started talking to the World Bank about that. The practical thing is to ensure that we address vulnerabilities, that we empower the communities along the coast, because we know there's decreasing fish stock, that is negatively affecting the livelihood along the coast, and there's a rise in unemployment, and this rising poverty is what affects and increases the vulnerabilities of the girls. So these are the interventions government is doing. We are going to roll out other social protection programs, but there is a strategic focus of government on the coastal belt of Ghana. We are increasing school feeding. We are going to increase it here. We have the back to school projects by social development department. We are doing it along the coast. So these are some of the interventions.
Those are the interventions, but it's not so rosy because we'll still have to remain in the central region, as the region has already recorded more than 100 fire outbreaks just in the first month of 2016.
According to the region's fire service, the series of outbreaks are becoming alarming and is therefore urging residents to exhibit a greater sense of responsibility. Here's Richard Kwejo-Nyako again.
This month of January has barely elapsed, but the central region has recorded more fire outbreaks than it anticipated. Bushfires constitute over 80% of the total number of outbreaks recorded in the region. Central Regional Command of the Ghana National Fire Service, DO1, Gilbert Riafe with his men, a woman marched through the principal street of Cape Coast to create awareness and, more importantly, educate residents on some safety tips to reduce the occurrences of the fires. He expressed worry about the many fire outbreaks that the region is faced with and called on the citizenry to exercise extra care to avert more fires.
In January 2016, we have recorded a number of 105 fires, which is quite alarming, and we are not happy about it. We want the public to be aware of the fact that we are not happy of the occurrences of fires within the region. In fact, for some time we've been conducting this education, and we've realized that it's not getting deep down into the remotest parts. So we are hoping that with this particular one, a lot of people will hear and abide by the rules. Yeah, we have a majority of them are bushfires. About 85 of them were bushfires, and the others are domestic fires. But we are in the Harmattan, and the conditions are very high, so much so that all the combustible materials are dried up. So a little spark of fire will cause a great damage and destruction. So we are asking that those who use fire in their homes should be very careful. Those who use fire at their workplaces should also be very, very careful. And those in the farmlands, they should also be very careful the way they handle fires. Because fires can be destructive. Fires can kill. Fire can make us miserable. So we are telling everybody within this region and even the whole nation at large to be careful the way we handle fires.
Hardly had the education and awareness campaign ended when there was an alert that fire was ravaging through one of the bushes in Cape Coast. The firefighters rushed to the scene to douse the fire to save lives and properties. Richard Kwejo-Nyako, Joy News, Cape Coast.
I don't know whether it's one of the main routes in Cape Coast, but well, yeah. Richard Kwejo-Nyako from Cape Coast. Now we have to talk a lot more health.
And 167 people died of HIV/AIDS at the Koforidua Central Hospital in the Eastern Region in 2015.
However, authorities say many could have been saved if they sought medical care that early, instead of just spending months in prayer camps. Well, the medical director of the hospital, Dr. Kwame Obuama, lamented that until the hospital stops playing second fiddle to prayers for a cure, more deaths would be recorded from conditions that could be managed medically.
The number of people who die at Koforidua Central Hospital continues to rise each year. Health officials say a big reason for their increase in mortality rate is the fact that most patients prefer to visit prayer camps when they fall ill and only come to the hospital when the situation gets critical. Briefing the media on the hospital's performance for 2015, the medical director of the Koforidua Central Hospital, Dr. Kwame Obuama, revealed that most of the deaths from HIV and AIDS patients were those who had stopped taking antiretroviral drugs on spiritual advice.
We are sick, especially when the person becomes more or less have this neck stiffness, becoming unconscious, have a temperature, please don't take that person to the prayer camps or other places. Please come to the hospital. Otherwise, the person, once the infection is there and continues to be among other people, those other people also become at-risk people. But if you come to the hospital and we detect, we'll be able to treat you, also trace back to where you stay, your family members, and give them the necessary prevention measures. So the prayer camps, to answer that question also, do still exist, as well as other alternatives where patients or sick people go and seek for care before attending hospital. And obviously this sometimes leads to more serious complications that would have rather been prevented if they came to the hospital earlier with their illnesses. And as I said, those with chronic diseases like hypertension, diabetes, HIV, AIDS, because sometimes taking the medications on a daily basis is a problem, people tend to want, as it were, quick solutions to their problems, and will therefore go to these prayer centers. I mean, naturally, people would want to hear that my disease is gone than for somebody telling him that or her that you need to take these medicines for the rest of your life.
Well, so now for our last story, and the Executive Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, has been assessing prices of crude oil following recent marginal increases of the commodity on the international market. Actually, rather a reduction of prices on the of the commodity on the international market.
Because, you know, the prices climbed out of the $20 range in the past week, reaching $34 on Friday, January 29. But according to Mr. Amin, it is not yet time to rejoice over a turnaround in petroleum pricing, as the fundamentals on the market do not support that. He was sharing his thoughts on the marketplace here on Joy News.
An oil price recovery from the downward trend that we saw over the last month, 6-7 months, is going to be good news for them, because most of them have lost much needed revenues. They have not been able to balance their budget, especially the 2015 budget was a big most oil producing countries. And so if there is a price recovery, that should be good news for them. But I think that the recovery may not be sustained. The current recovery is as a result of the noise in the market because of what the finance minister of the United Arab Emirates, a member of OPEC, said, to the effect that OPEC is likely to cooperate with non-OPEC producers to be able to address the declining prices. And so that introduced noise into the market, and that is why speculators are taking advantage of that to take the price up. But as I said, this is not sustained, because the fundamentals of the market do not support price recovery. First of all, you know that there is oversupply of oil relative to demand. In addition to this, Iran, following the lifting of sanctions on the country, has also expressed its determination to increase additional production by about 500,000 barrels a day.
So that'll be it for the news. We have a couple of your comments on our WhatsApp platform. Just in case you want to reach the very platform, that is, if you're not aware of the number, is 0568 800,000. Give us a lot more of those messages, but right now we have a couple of them.
All right, so here's Abdullah Abdul Razak in Tamale, our dear friend, who says, glory to be to God for another terrific new week. And I want to say good morning to all the AM show crew, and
Thank
also
you.
to tell my friends in Tamale. All right, so happy new month to you as well, Abdul Razak. Okay, more messages. Okay, first go up, sachet water also enjoys massive hike. all attributable to cedi depreciation, inflation, and almighty fuel price hike. Can ordinary, genuine worker contain this? Mr. President, we're dying under your watch. It's from Kekusi in Ejoso Bisiase sending us that message. And this one says, we welcome CPP to the race and wish you all the best. It's from Isaac in Nabi, who is in Inquanta South. More messages we're getting here. I salute the CPP for successful Congress. And it's from Nas, who is watching us from WA right now. I always like the way you present yourselves on the AM show. Thank you, but kindly include your name when you send us a message. Are we safe? That's a message. It's like the quickest way to get money is through politics. Please, our politicians should wake up and do their work rather than using our votes to enrich themselves. A. Razak and Tamale, I don't know what is annoying you this morning. I don't know what you saw in the news. Okay, but there was something.
This is one I wanted to read. It says, good morning, Roland. Yeah, the same person, Razak. But he said his problem is that I will appreciate it if we could pass this on to NATS. That's the NATS General Secretary. That's for the teachers. They always give us the teachers' diaries as our end-of-year contribution benefits. Please, we would like to know what they do with our monthly contribution, because the diaries are of no use to us.
That's
what I saw. I thought.
People give us diaries all the time.
Do we even
use
if you belong to an association, you should make sure that you know the ins and outs of the workings of the association. And I think that's a very good thing. Participatory democracy and decision making is important.
And the diary may not be useful to you, but for others, they plan their lives with it. So since the transport fares will affect everyone in Ghana, no problem. JM Shufir God and create jobs for jobless youth. Sadi Gariba from Savlugu in the northern region. Let me go up and see. Good morning to Mama V and Roland. Please greet my brother from another mother, Abdullah Rahman in Accra for me. It's from Al Hassan Tarika, who is in Savlugu. You pay us for transferring your message. Okay, this one more that I'll read. We'll come back and do the headlines and share a lot more. We have to say no to conflicts. Somebody's calling my WhatsApp line. I'll come back and continue, but please don't call the WhatsApp line. We read the messages. We can't talk to you.
Yeah, that's just by mistake. I'm just trying to give you the benefits of the doubt. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll be looking at what the stories are on the front and back page of the newspapers, and we'll put them on the pages for you, and then you can get a lot more. We're taking a break. We'll be right back.